Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
When Miss Tricia Barker's soul returned to her body after her near-death experience, she realized that she was a different person.
I asked the nurses, how long was I dead? I knew I was dead. Okay, what do you think of God? Because God's this amazing light energy. And I started talking about these things.
Angels in the Operating Room. Tricia Barker's near-death experience. Part 3 of 4. Continue watching to find out more.
Greetings, positive viewers. I'm Soban. The people of Afghanistan wish you always awaked in the eternal blessing of our glorious Mother Nature. Welcome to part 3 of our 4-part series, Angels in the Operating Room, Tricia Barker's near-death experience. During her soul's journey to another plane, Miss Tricia Barker learned many lessons. When she returned to her earthly body, she realized that she was different, that many changes had taken place.
I was an agnostic at that time. I was a college student, did not care about spirituality, was not interested at all. But 17 hours later, and I have to tell you, I knew with absolute certainty that the spiritual form goes on. Our spirit, our soul continues on long after the body has deceased. I was immediately different. Even as soon as they pulled the tracheotomy out of my throat, I asked the nurses, how long was I dead? I knew I was dead. Okay, what do you think of God? Because God's this amazing light energy. And I started talking about these things. I noticed that I was more intuitive and sensitive immediately, and I could read some of my family members' thoughts, and that was disconcerting. And then I also noticed that I was outside of time. I might know something was going to happen 10 minutes before it was going to happen. There were these moments of precognition and knowing little things, that what was going to be on the radio at a certain time. So I was immediately different. In this phase, I was full of light. And I would say the first 2 years, I was nothing but light and love and happiness and joy and gratitude, just to be alive, just to walk. And then being here over time, more and more happened. There were more and more disappointments with friends, with loved ones, with people, with things on this earth that are hard to walk through. Those moments were difficult, but I learned, okay, even though I've been given this great love, I still have to protect myself. I still have to make wise choices.
Through her near-death experience, Miss Barker came to understand more clearly how to live a happier, more fulfilling life. She generously shares these concepts with her students, including an insightful technique for overcoming depression.
I think love in action is what gets us out of that depression. And I understand it because I was given a particular mission, and I'm so glad I was given that mission because that kept me in a good space. There were so many students over the years, junior high, high school, college, who were hurting, and I had that opportunity to help them. When you focus on the self, you're not happy. When you're focused on giving love to the world, you are happy. When you're in the flow of God and you're giving love to this world, you're connected to that love again. So you might say every day, thank you for that experience. Thank you for that connection to love. How can I give it to this world? Can I volunteer to teach kids to read? Can I bring Meals on Wheels to the homeless people, even to elderly people? Can I feed the homeless? Can I do something just kind every day for random people? Can I be grateful? Can I bring that love to myself? One thing I teach my students is meditation, and we will have at least every semester one meditation. And sometimes people are hurting so deeply But just meditation is a place to begin to connect to a little bit of that peace and that love of God. That the near-death experience is very profound, but you can bring in small doses, connection to God, whether that's in a spiritual community, a church, meditation, nature. There's so many ways to begin that practice. But if you take that time and you ask for that loving energy of God to come into your life in that moment, in that meditation, in that prayer, sometimes it does flow through you and it does take away that fear and that pain. And sometimes you have to do it for months and months before there's any change. I tell my students who are in deep fear and deep pain, you might just breathe a little better. After your first 10 meditations, you might find that, oh, maybe I am a little more relaxed, or I am breathing a little bit deeper, or I'm stopping before I get angry in traffic, and I'm stopping before I get angry at this person, and taking a breath and realizing greater peace in my life. And that might be the beginning of a change.
Attentive viewers will now take a moment to listen to an important message. We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our discussion with Miss Tricia Barker, a longtime teacher. Miss Barker often helps students overcome their fears. She next shares how she does this.
Fear can be tackled in steps, and generally it's taking action in a different way. So it's stepping forward and believing that your goals will be reached if you take enough actions. Now, will they be reached in exactly the way that you wanted them to? Maybe not. You step out with faith to do something, but then you have to be aware that life is going to participate with you in ways that it may not become evident until later why you are on this path. But faith is incredibly important because it gets you out of yourself and it helps you step out into the world. And I know a lot of people battle some really deep fears and they don't even know where to begin. And I say, start with a community, start with a meditation community, a church, somewhere where you're connected to other people who can raise you up out of that fear. Because in those moments when you're with others, you can begin to pick up on some of their energy and their experience and their faith.
During her near-death experience, Miss Tricia Barker had a great spiritual awakening, but most of us have not had this experience. So, how do we have an awakening ourselves?
There are many ways to awaken. You don't have to have a near-death experience or a close call or a second chance in order to change your life. And many people change their life gradually through meditation, through 2 years. And then one day they wake up and they think, wow, I'm so different, after all this time that I've spent in meditation. Or they do something. They join a service organization and build homes for people who are struggling. Or they do something where they're giving to this world and they wake up. Others have spontaneous connections when a loved one dies. I would say that the wish to wake up and the creative part of the spirit that looks to the heavens, that looks up to the stars, that tries to figure out why we're here, tries to figure out our purpose. I think that's a beautiful part of every human being. And honor that part of yourself, honor that childlike part of yourself. Think about it. Think about what you want to happen when you die. Do you want to connect with loved ones? Do you want to feel connected to the whole universe? Do you want all of the questions that you've ever wanted answered. And do you want to understand why everything that has happened in history happened up until this point and how we can make this world different? So think about what you want to know and be curious and be childlike.
After 20 years of integrating her phenomenal experience into her life, Miss Barker wrote a book about her near-death experience and has been grateful about how her book is able to touch others, awakening something within them as well.
When I wrote my book, Angels in the OR, I gave it to a friend who was agnostic with me in college. And she has not been convinced by my near-death experience, all these many years. She's like, oh, I'm sure that was great for you. That was your experience. That's how a lot of agnostics think. When she read the book, she put it down and she said, I spent the afternoon thinking about what it's like when we die. And I was like, success. I finally made someone who's agnostic think about what happens when we die. And does the spirit go on? I know it goes on. I don't have to be convinced. I know that was not a dream. That was not a hallucination. That was me, the essence of me, my soul continuing on. And I'm more connected to my soul at times than I am this body. That's the truth. And yet some people need to be convinced of that. And so listening to these experiences, I think, helps activate some part of people who remember their soul.
We once again sincerely thank Miss Tricia Barker for sharing her remarkable experiences with our viewers.
For more information about Miss Tricia Barker, please visit triciabarkernde.com.
Wondrous viewers, thank you for your company today. Please join us again on Monday, January 13, for the concluding episode in this series. Coming up next is 4 Types of Beings in Our Life, Part 2 of 6, on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. Through the immense grace of the Divine, may you be protected and spiritually uplifted each day of your life.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/ss.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/ss.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/ss.
Unsere Sendungen bieten viele Sprachen. Gehen Sie auf suprememastertv.com/schedule und suprememastertv.com/ss.